What? I ain't gonna check the thing on that.
What?
I won't tell him that what name said he need to talk to.
Who are they? Rain.
White boy like that.
Oh, okay.
Said because you almost had 100,000 and by you almost being there, you qualify for something. You supposed to qualify. He said you supposed to qualify for something. Now you gotta know because it's a protection on you once you get to us.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he talking my kind of talk. You ready?
So he said, give him a call.
All right. Yeah, lights, cameras, action. I'm ready when you ready, boss man. Electric lights don't fit. You ready?
I'm glad I got my haircut.
Already, man.
Alright, audio rolling, all cameras rolling, y'all good. I'm gonna go lock the door when y'all start.
Okay, bet. Say, man, what's up? This your boy Charleston White. Another week and another episode of the game-related podcast, man. What's up? What it do?
Hey man, y'all know what time it is. Mr. That boy Do over here, man. Finna give y'all some more quite a game that's gonna be spilled on the ground, man, for everybody to pick up. You hear me?
Yeah, we got a special guest in the house, man. I like to call one of them remarkable stories of redemption. You know, most of us start out going one way and end up another way, good or bad, right or wrong. So with that being said, I'm gonna have our guest introduce himself. What's going on, Mr. Dennis?
How you doing, Mr. White? You out here raising hell, man. On the internet. What you doing, man?
Yes, sir. Can you introduce yourself to the audience and to the crowd for me?
Yeah, my name is Dennis Sperling, Dennis DeMond Sperling, and at this time I'm an attorney, I'm a father, I have my own law practice, I have an entertainment company, I'm an author, father of 3 healthy, strong boys. I live in Houston, Texas. I practice law here, but I'm also licensed in multiple states, including New York, Louisiana, Texas, Illinois. And I'm also admitted to practice in the United States Supreme Court. I've been practicing law 22 years, and it'll be 17 years I've had my own law practice. And
wow.
Doing pretty well for myself.
Amazing, man. And shout out to my publicist, Dr. O, man, for getting you on the show.
No, real talk.
Great.
Dr. O.
All right, Dr. O.
So this is for the new game related. This is our second season. Last year, we had some attorneys on, but this is the first year of this season with the game related podcast. So Mr. Dennis is our first attorney. So we go get us some good game, but most importantly, I want to get the backstory to who Mr. Dennis is and how does a black man in America with so many barriers, obstacles, how do they become an attorney, right? Coming from where we come from. So first and foremost, where are you from in the world?
So I was born in South Central Los Angeles. Born in Los Angeles County Hospital in 1974. For you guys who don't know, that's the county hospital for people who don't have insurance. At the time, my mother was a young teenage girl when she had me. Unfortunately, she did not want to have a child. And without going too deep into it, she did what she could to eliminate me before I popped out, right? But those methods failed. And so she met a man after she became pregnant. And she and that man raised me as their own. Now, unfortunately, their relationship didn't work. And I didn't find out until I was 10 years old that the man that I'm named after was not my father. And that happened because when things came up, my mother had actually sent me out to live with him in Houston, Texas, and to try to get me away from the gang violence and the drugs that were going on in Los Angeles in the early 1980s and mid 1980s. But eventually, I was sent back to LA at the time when it was at its height as concerning gang banging, drug dealing, and all the crime, all the movies that were made in the 90s. Yeah, I lived through that.
Yeah.
And for a time, you know, I would never say I was involved with a gang, but being in the neighborhood, and for those who are familiar with LA, I grew up in, and I don't want to call out names, but I'll say I grew up off of Charleston and Vermont, which is the, notorious area. I attended John Muir Junior High School, Butlong Elementary School, and eventually graduated from Manual Arts High School, which is on Martin Luther King in Vermont. And anybody who knows anything about Martin Luther King
Real good game.
in any city of America knows it's probably the most violent street in any city.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, Malcolm and Martin gonna be the two. Yeah. So with that being said, you was in California. Was it just your mom, your brothers, sisters? Was there any male guidance?
When I was in California, man, I would say that. No. Yes and no. In that, you mean good male guidance? Male guidance?
No, just male guidance.
Male
Good or
guidance,
bad? Good or bad?
At about here's what happened, man. So I came home. I had dealt with some hard issues at my adopted father's house. I wasn't treated the best because they knew I wasn't his son.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know. And so it was some rough times. We would say some physical and verbal abuse going on. And so they sent me back to LA and I was turned up. You know what I mean? I was ready for it. And so when I got there, I started kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd. Specifically, I started gambling and just hanging out with I was hanging out with the Crips down the street. You know what I'm saying? They was from neighborhood Crips.
Oh, listen, now you just said something to grab my interest. You said I started gambling. That's a unique term and statement for most, that's a victimless crime, so to say, right? It don't take aggression. What made you take the gambling and rather than other stuff?
I was shooting craps on the curb with the homies. It was just the thing we did. I'd come down there with my $5 or $10, and sometimes the dope boys from the neighborhood would pull up, and I'd shoot 5s and 1s and whatever we had, just because it was camaraderie. So even though I wasn't affiliated, I just liked hanging out with them. They were my age. I was the oldest cousin at my grandmother and my auntie, at my people's house. My mom wasn't really around like that, so I kind of just got into what I got into. And so the homies was down the street, we was cool. They knew my people did business with them. My Uncle Slim, shout out to Uncle Slim, Uncle Robert, everybody. My house was kind of like, my uncles gambled. My uncles were hustlers.
Yeah.
Any given day, you got boosters, ex-drug dealers, ex-convicts. My Uncle Bernie, and when I say uncle, some of these people aren't actually my relatives. My Uncle Bernie shot up Jefferson High School's homecoming court during the game with his homeboy back in the 70s. By the time I saw him 20 years later, he was just getting out of prison, but he would be in the kitchen cooking, cooking breakfast. And so, and they weren't playing dominoes or gambling, that's what they did. And this is my grandmother's house. So I was raised in a hood element, and so for me to start gambling with the homies down the street was really just me mimicking what I
was just about to say, that's really home life. Yeah, you learning how to play spades and all that, all the hustler games. So what was school like for you? I take it you got some academic talent because you went and got you passed the bar. But starting out, what was school like for you?
No, but I was a horrible student.
What?
At John Muir, I think I probably got in more fights You know, because I was aggressive, I was big. I think I fought every day in John Muir. And if I wasn't in a real fight, then I was fighting with my friends, because that's what we did. We would go and fight each other on the grass and just slap box, wrestle, whatever. We thought we was WWF champions, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
no, I was not a very good child. I mean, I thought I was good.
Well,
You know,
so when you got to school, was the work hard or just the elements of what you was dealing with from home life? Oh,
man, bro, I mean, school was a place where I ate lunch, you know, and hung out with my friends. You know, school was like, it was not like school. It was like a prison.
wow.
You know, my children go to school. I went to John Muir, which is like a pre-camp for prison.
Explain that.
I mean,
We got a lot of mothers watching this. Explain that. You got to be from LA to know what you're talking about, first of all.
Yeah, first of all, you got people from different sets everywhere on the campus. There's certain colors you can't wear. Like, I never wore the color red until I graduated and went away to school. You see what I mean?
Wow.
I barely would wear like brown and these other things because people might read that wrong. And you know, every day is a problem. People getting shot, you know, people getting stabbed, sometimes outside the campus.
This in high school?
No, this is junior high. This
This fuck?
Is 13. Yeah, this is 13 to 15.
I can't imagine my junior high being like that. And this is in the 80s and the 90s.
This is in 1986 to 1989.
Oh yeah, it's the height of it. Yeah, it's the height of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody familiar with South Central LA knows John Muir Junior High School right over there off of 60th and Vermont. So the Brims and the Rolling 60s, you got everybody's in the school, and this is before high school kind of weeds people out. So it was just a tough experience.
Can I ask you a question? How
Yes,
did that shape the dynamics of sports? If you got all of this division in the school, how does that shape the dynamics of sports?
When you say how does it shape the dynamic of sports, you mean like?
Well, the quarterback. Just say this: the quarterback may be a rolling 60. Who else you say went to that school? The center might be good, but he may not. He may be the opposite. You see? Yeah, explain that.
I got it. So when I went to Manual Arts, okay, so Manual Arts is in off of like 40th and whatnot, 40th and Vermont. So I had a homeboy, man, he was from MS-13. And I had another homeboy, he was from 18th Street. And these are Mexicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the homies, some of the brothers, they was from 40th, they was from Hoover. You see what I'm saying? So you had a whole lot of gangbangers on the team or gang affiliated, because a lot of the toughest guys in school, they were gang affiliated, even if it was loosely affiliated. Some of the best athletes, they were just tough kids. So we went out and played ball, but again, I was non-affiliated, you know, even though I had homeboys. And the reason, and here's the thing, the crazy part is I told you that my people did business with my homeboys down the street. And it was all good until there was an issue. Around about 1988, I was about 14 years old, and me and the rest of the family had went off to Rancho Cucamonga to kind of hang out for Super Bowl. It was that Super Bowl that I believe Doug Williams won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do that every year, go out there. I come home and find out, man, my Uncle Slim and the homies down the street, they got into a big ass fight. Excuse me for cussing.
No, we cuss on real. They edited though.
Right in front of my grandmother's house on 58th in Kansas. And later on that night, my Uncle Slim went and shot their houses up. And so I could no longer hang out with them anymore because it was a problem. And I couldn't, I was not gonna risk the chance of hanging out with them and they still have animosity towards my family, even though it was cool because Uncle Slim settled it. You see what I'm saying? And the statute of limitations is up for that by now, you know.
Yeah.
But that made me say, well, damn, I can't hang out with them no more. Because the truth is, if you looked at me, you wouldn't be able to differentiate between me and them. Because even though I didn't think I was gang affiliated, I know some of my relatives thought I was hanging with the homies too much, and it was too deep. We was riding places together, going different places and whatnot. And so that kind of ended my never was, but would have been gangbanging career right there.
But see,
Uncle Slim ended it with the barrel of his AK-47. And so, thank God, I went out and started playing ball, but it was still issues because sometimes there's a little animosity there. Not only was there black on black animosity, but you had a little bit of Hispanic and black animosity on the team, but we all played together. And, at the end of the day, we were trying to get a win. So we set aside our differences, and played football together. And, big shout out to the Maine Large High School football team.
Is it possible to go to at this time in California? Is it possible to go to school and just be a cool dude and have no fights?
You could be a cool dude, but
but you gonna have some fight.
Yeah, you gonna get tested. Whether you choose to fight or not is you, but you're going to get tested. You just, I don't think. I mean, California, LA, South Central is like hell. Everybody's gonna get burnt in hell. And the only way to get out of hell is to escape hell. Like, you're not gonna escape. I don't care. Think about it. Technically, my adopted father, a foster father, was the lawyer. You see what I'm saying? That didn't save me. That didn't put a correct protective barrier around me. He didn't have enough money to move me to the valley, even if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? He basically like, you'll be all right. You know what I mean? And it is what it is, and I'm okay with that.
So,
you know what I mean? But no, there's no safe place in LA.
Let me ask you this. So when did you learn I got a big body size, and if I be aggressive, this become my defense. This solves my problem. Because you say you fought a lot. Anger issues or just being a bully?
No, man, I was mostly defending myself. I look like a little light-skinned dude. We're gonna pick on this dude. And then when I mollywop their ass, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to fight. Like in LA, when I grew up, you had to fight. It was no getting around it. It's because if you didn't fight this person, there was gonna be 5 more people you had to fight later on that semester, or later on that year. So if you didn't deal with, I'm telling you, it's just like the penitentiary.
Wow.
If you don't set your mark right now and establish that you are not to be F with, you're gonna have to fight everybody else in the school. You understand what I'm saying, bro?
So check this
I had
out.
to fight with first day in 4th grade.
Oh,
first day
man.
in 5th grade, first day in 6th grade, last day in 9th grade. And, I think after 8th grade, I fought 2 dudes doing PE. It was 6 dudes I fought in the 9th grade. It was just, it's par for the course. A lot of those dudes.
So do you think that was because of your affiliation that with the people that you was with? I mean, from the side of town.
Dudes I hung out with that was just some dudes I hung out with at my grandma's house.
Yeah.
There was a whole nother set of dudes at school. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, you had some dudes who wasn't affiliated at all, and they just hung out together. That was me. But then they had cousins and whatnot. So it's not even like you actively part of the gang. I would never claim nothing. You know what I mean? But, because see, let me tell you something. Like back then, and I don't understand this now, but the older guys I hung out with, all of them was from the east side of LA, and they was from the Pablos, and they was old school. They're like, that's something you grow out of, son. Gangbanging is something you stop doing at 14. You become a grown man, you get your hustle on and make your money. You want to have nice cars. You can't be right. Ain't no benefits in gangbanging. You see what I mean? Be a hustler. You want to be a street dude, be a hustler, be a booster, be something like that. Be a scammer.
Game related niggas, as I call it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't paying no money. But see, when the drugs came in, then the gang affiliation began to be something that you can make money with, and that's why older dudes start getting into it.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
The world had never seen crack before California, so LA was the first place on earth to see crack.
Yeah.
You was there. Can you tell us about it?
Man, I mean, I think one of my memories, man, I used to see a lot of strawberries, women who
sold their bodies for crack. Yeah.
All right, man. And so there was this lady next door. Her name was Juanita, man. It was broad daylight, summertime. And the thing is, you gotta understand, I didn't have a curfew. Me and none of my cousins, we didn't have a curfew.
Oh,
we would just be out. It'd be 12 o'clock at night. We'd be out running outside in the middle of the street barefoot, But this just happened to be broad daylight. It was this lady named Juanita. She lived right next door. And it was about 6 or 7 of us, and we was walking down the street from my house, from my grandma's house, and we saw her head going up and down. And she had a trick in the front seat of this old car. And we was just laughing our ass, laughing and whatnot. And she was basically performing a sex act on this trick. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he saw the kids behind us, and I guess he got nervous. He got up, got out, walked away. And then she got out mad at us, toothless, burnt out, ugly. She used to be a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is not that I saw it. The problem is that was so common, I thought it was normal. You see what I'm saying? And so when you see people, man, you got kids on the normal. I got cousins on deformities because of heroin and crack that their moms use. Some of my relatives. You see what I mean? I got people that in and out the penitentiary because of the crack, because they get caught up, because of drug use, because they get caught with something. So what was it like? For me at that time, it was normal. It was my normal. And it was so dysfunctional that it took me a while to adjust to a normal life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll get to that normal life. You talked about the big homies from the Pablos. Throughout your school life, we all got a teacher, a counselor, coach. Did anybody ever pull you to the side and identify a gift and say, man, you shouldn't be doing this. There's something different about you in school?
Yeah, well, I mean, not really in school. My Uncle Slim, man, he was a street hustler. I've never known him to have a job, but when he found out I was hanging out with the homies down the street, he took me aside and said, man, if you're gonna be a street dude, don't be a gangbanger. Ain't no money in that. And not that I was even gangbanging, but apparently,
He saw it.
The perception, the reality of the perception.
But in the child's mind, I'm only 11, 12, 13. And I remember one day when I was having some problems up in school, and he was like, man, you want a gun? You want a knife? I'm like, wow, Uncle Slim, I'm cool. But see, his perspective was, and he grew up on the east side. He came from Mississippi, where my people was from. And the first time he was on the east side, and it was real bad back then, because they used to thump. They didn't have guns like that. They didn't have pull a pistol out. But he said, man, somebody beat him so bad, they just beat him all up on somebody's car because he was a square dude. And it wasn't until my granddaddy came from Mississippi with his guns that he began to pack a pistol and had his rifles in his car going up to Jefferson High School. You see what I'm saying? And that's when they got about, so he was extra sensitive to that. You see? And he was like, basically, it's only one way you can deal with these N-words. And they got, the only thing to understand is violence. The only language they speak is violence. And so you begin to speak violence to them, they're not gonna act right. There's no rehab on some people. You understand?
Yeah. I asked the question earlier, and you just gave me the answer. That's where that seed and that cycle of violence is presented to the young black boy for his need to survive in this jungle where he's raised at, right? So how you get out? What was your out? What was your way out?
Hey man, I hate to say it, man, but I'm probably not supposed to be out. I had a 2.6 GPA. The only thing I was kind of good at was football. I failed, I think I failed math. So I was already locked out of the California State institutions, school.
For sports.
Maybe I could have gone into a junior college. Yeah, I was locked out. As a matter of fact, I got a D in Spanish. So the way they keep you out, if you don't speak Spanish, you don't even qualify to go to the California State University. So I was already locked out.
What?
Yeah, back then, if you don't have a minimum foreign language requirement, now who does that benefit? Does that benefit a black boy?
Not at all.
Nah, you know what?
It's not like I'm gonna sit there and learn German and French. So I was already locked out. The system was against me. My teachers didn't really care. I want everybody at Manual Arts High School, all you teachers to listen. Y'all didn't care about me. The only people that kind of cared about me was my football coach. And I thought maybe I could get a scholarship, or maybe I could get accepted to go to some JC or something like that. But for the most part, man, I was just wasted. I was either on my way to the grave or the penitentiary.
So
You know,
I'm gonna ask you this here. And the reason why I want to ask you this here, because I'm listening to the story, right? I'm listening to the whole development of how you gone through what you've gone through. You went through school, and I'm just sitting back and I'm observing how the school was, right? I'm looking at the schools. I'm looking at the school cycle. I'm looking at you just spoke about it, how the teachers and sometimes teachers just come to get a check because sometimes they feel like it ain't no help, and in reality, a lot of guys it wasn't no help. A lot of guys it really wasn't no help. From what I'm hearing you, how you speaking, for you to be able to go through the violence that you've gone through at such a young age, and to see you where you at right now, it's called a blessing. Yeah. It's called a blessing because everybody don't get that opportunity, if you get what I'm saying. So I could now that you really giving us a bigger vision on the culture of Los Angeles. You giving us a bigger vision on what's really going on behind the scene that everybody's still trying to figure out. Because you still got a lot of people trying to figure it out. Why it is, and why it is. So I just want to commend you on really open up the eyes to our listeners on, the reason why it's the way it was back then and why it's so hard now to try to clean.
So let me ask you something. So school, is there police presence?
Oh yeah, I was calling the police. So tell them every time right before I'm gonna get in a fight, man, I'm about to fight with these dudes today or tomorrow, and we having problems. So I literally would go tell them ahead of time. My mama told me, say, look, if you got problems with somebody on the campus, just let the cops know ahead of time. If you got problems, when they see the cop off, they understand. And it worked every time.
Yeah.
I think the last fight I got into was senior year. Some dude was looking at me crazy, so I jumped across the table and socked him in the mouth. He hit me. It was a fight. That's the environment you live in.
All because a nigga looking at you. You jump over the table and hit this nigga because he looking at you?
And we know each other. Like, we play on the same football team.
Everybody just walking around mad. Man, I'm looking, homie. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm really looking over you, but yeah, I'm looking at you. So nigga gotta fight. Listen to me. You really giving me a better understanding of LA, right? You giving me a better understanding. So basically, the conditions of California, from the neighborhood to the school, is gladiator style. Kids can't, this gladiator. Motherfucker better not come trying to be diplomatic. Motherfucker better not have no conflict resolution skills where he can talk it out. Nigga, you better get gladiator. Is that what you telling me? From the fourth grade, because you say I had to fight the first day of fourth grade. The first day, can you imagine being conditioned from third grade that, man, the first day of school, I couldn't sleep. I had my pants laid on the bed. I had my shoes sitting like it was a body in there. And I'm excited because I'm finna go wear all my brand new clothes. Fighting was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, seeing the females, that's what we were looking at. Like, let's go check out some of the new females, especially middle school.
Trying to survive, man. I mean, I try to explain to people, like, LA is not like anywhere I've ever been. I've been to a lot of places. I've been to a lot of third world countries. LA is just not that place. At that time, I don't know what it's like.
It's worse. 100 days, 100 nights. They literally had a summer where they killed for 100 days and 100 nights. You're helping me to understand why it's worse today. I lived there for a year, and I said I could never bring my children here. I wonder why the schools look like prisons. They really look like prisons. And I'm saying, how can children thrive? So let me ask you this, Mr. Dennis. Your zip code. Do you ever get to move out of your zip code? So normally, because you're saying third world countries, right? Normally where you born in third world country, that's where you lay, stay, and die. You don't leave there. If your parents was poor in a third world country, you be poor. Is that the same cycle in LA? Do many people get to move around and elevate as they grow old in California?
Well, let me say this, man. I have a lot of relatives that are still stuck in the same situation. Like they're doing the same thing they were doing when I was a little boy. They smoking weed, they drinking, they making babies, they gang banging, they not really doing much. I do have some cousins who moved out and moved to places like Lancaster and Palmdale, but they bring that same foolishness up there with them. You see what I'm saying? Like they bring that same mentality. It's a mentality. It's a dysfunctional mentality that people bring with them. You see what I'm saying? And I thank God that at least at a young age, I got a chance to live with my adopted father, and I saw that there is a difference. Like this ain't the whole world. You see what I mean? At least I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel before I could see it. I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I knew people who had made it, but I didn't think I had the resources or the help to get there. You know, and it wasn't until this, I'm fresh out the riots, you know.
Let's talk about, let's, how were you during the Rodney King riots?
It happened on April 26th. I had just turned 18. It's a funny story, man. I'm on Manchester and between Manchester between Normandy and I think right where Dinker is. And I'm trying to strip a car. Okay, so somebody had burnt the car out, and I was trying to strip it down to the store, trying to get the seats out of it to put in my little Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess I must have, and the police is out there. It was the third? Was it a Friday? I think it was that third. They caught my ass. The police saw my head pop up and pulled over, man. They had me hemmed up, sitting on the curb, man. I'm like, yeah. And I made up this BS story. He said, well, what are you doing? You want to talk to me before I go talk to my sergeant? And I was like, yeah, man, it's my auntie car, man, and it got stolen from Inglewood. And what I'm trying to do is take all the good stuff out of it before it gets firebombed. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess so they went and ran the plates. And he said, is this something you want to tell me before I go talk to my sergeant? I'm like, yeah, man, see that Volkswagen behind the liquor store? I said, that's not, I'm just trying to get the seats out of it. He's like, where you live? Around the corner. And crazy thing is, man, you know, that was normal, but I could have been set up for a felony.
Yeah.
And now check this out. 2 weeks later, right? 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. I'm in the gym. I'm in the weight room at Mayor Bar's lifting weights. It's like 2:30. School about to close. And I told you about that fight I had with that dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they called me to the principal's office. I'm like, man, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. So I'm like, and then my coach said, you gotta go on over there. They called, you gotta go. So I start walking over there. I'm walking slow. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to deal with this. I could wait till the bell ring and then go home. So a 5-minute walk taking me like 15 minutes. So by the time I get to the principal office, man, the bell rings. I see the principal, Dr. Robert Barner, and he'll testify to this day. He is walking out of his office with a college recruiter. And the college recruiter had come up there looking for 2 people. One young lady named Darlene Stevenson and another young man named Michael Green. And he said, he met with them, sat down, talked to them, met with them earlier. And then apparently he had asked the principal, was there one more? And what he meant was, is there one more person who passed the SAT with a 750? Because that ain't nothing, right? 750 ain't nothing. But it's a minimum standards to get in. I had a 2.66 and a 750. And so Dr. Barner called me from the weight room, and turns out, man, he was a historically Black university college recruiter, and he had one application left out in his car, because he had only brought 2. And they gave me permission to go out to his car, man. It was one application to go to Grambling State University, $25, man. I'll never forget that. I went down to the post office, got my $25 after that day. I got my little money order, and I sent it in, and I got accepted. But the crazy thing was, I'm like, man, I can't get into school because I got a 2.6 GPA, and I got a 750. He said, no, you good. I said, you mean? I said, because in California schools, I can't get in. He said, we don't care about that Spanish out there, man. We understand what you've been through. The fact that you took the SAT on my own now.
Yeah.
I spent my own little money doing that because I knew I wanted to try to set myself up. But, man, lo and behold, man, long story short, my first semester Grambling, I majored in biology. I got a 3.8 GPA. I got all A's, and I got 1 F in math.
All black boys struggle with math. That's the black girl's subject.
Yeah. I didn't have no helicopters flying over, man. I wasn't getting set tripped on, man. I didn't have to worry about what color. I had 3 meals to eat a day. It was fresh air. People was nice to me. I was happy to be gone, man.
Say that. So you sound free.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you feel
right there,
free now.
Right there, right there.
Did you? So you finally get your first taste of freedom.
Yeah.
And when you get that fresh air, you just said, when you get that fresh air,
You excelled.
what you thinking about when you thinking about home? Like when you sit back and then you got this freedom and you go to back thinking like all the stuff that you went through at home.
Yeah.
Now you got a new friend, you got a new partner, you're around campus, and y'all having this conversation. Man, how do you feel about everybody else that's still at home?
Well, let me say this, man. I think I didn't realize, I knew I didn't want to go home. And that's why I studied so hard. I ain't had no girlfriend. I wasn't giving nobody no problems. There was a lot of dudes who would come out there. They would come to Grambling. I don't know if you know what Grambling is. It's in the middle of nowhere in North Louisiana. Okay, it's between Shreveport and Monroe, which ain't nowhere between nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, there was a lot of dudes who would come out there and they act tough. They from California. I'm from Chicago. I'm from California. I'm like, nigga, we out in the middle of the motherfucking country. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then come to find out, and hold up, then come to find out they not even from LA. They from like Kwame and Rancho Cucamonga and Pasadena. Like, you saying tough. I'm from the hood. Like, I'm out here. Bro, I literally had post-traumatic stress syndrome from growing up in South Central LA.
I heard sirens every day. Helicopters every day.
Yeah, and so it's like, man, I'm not playing here. This is my escape. I don't want to go home and live with my mom and my mom in the back garage and possibly get put out. She's already tired of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if I go back, ain't nothing to go back to. So I'm gonna have to stay here and thrive. But I did go back and visit, and I remember getting off the plane, and I remember how my mind just got tight the closer I got to goddamn Century and Western. I remember by the time I got to Century and Western, after getting off that plane and feeling all free like that, and just seeing the graffiti on the wall and interpreting, okay, who beefing with who and blah, blah, this, that, and the other. So, man, I realized then, man, I can't stay here.
So listen, he said, I want the audience to hear this. He said he got off the plane feeling free, and he started looking at the graffiti on the wall, taking in information saying who beefing with who. That was their internet. The wall was the internet back then. That was their social media. Nigga name, yeah. But you know from the city to read the walls.
Yeah.
Think about that, homie. You going back into a war zone. So you explained the emotional response. Your mind got tight. Man, I get it now. You don't have a choice out there. Your choice is removed.
You on alert. You on alert. You looking at anybody. You can't even look at people out there. Like I told you, what happened to me when I even staring at somebody too long as their car passes by, you could get a what's up.
That's prison.
And that's trouble. Yeah. That what's up could be death.
That's prison talk.
Yeah. It's not even. It doesn't even make sense. People think, oh, you got to have a certain color on and be in a certain. No, you're dealing with a lot of angry people, a lot of scared people, a lot of uptight people, and you just, it can pop off at any
Who
time.
was who was born into these conditions, and this all they know.
They
Now
was
you-
born angry.
You listen now. You just coming to visit. You just moving in. These people was born into a war zone.
Yeah, and
Oh.
unless you from LA, man, you really don't understand. Like, I was born into that. Like, that's all I understood. That's all I knew. You know, and it wasn't until I began to
That's
move
crazy.
to different places, like, I realized that's not normal. That's not even normal for hood life. You see what I mean? Because I've been to New York. I've been to, you know, Florida. I've been to Texas. You know, for the most part, people are good natured everywhere. Unless you mess with them, then you got a problem. In LA, you don't even have to mess with nobody. You can still get it. You know, it's a manufactured beat. And so coming from that situation, and then you got the cops to worry about, you got the essays to worry about, you got black folks to worry about, you damn near can't even go on a date because the broad might set you up to get robbed. That's what, you know what I'm saying? They had some stuff back in the day, right before my time, man. This is a place called the Snooty Fox on Western. Chicks were taking dudes over there to the Snooty Fox all the time. Next thing you know, you about to get busy and somebody kicking in the door, you getting robbed. You got pistols on you. You walking down the street with butt naked, you know, with your drawers on, because some broad done set you up to get robbed. You see what I mean? And even like some of the dirtiest stuff has happened behind women getting involved in stuff. I know this chick, she used to do the driving, and then, you know, the dudes pop, you call you to the car, next thing you know, either car's pulling up behind you and you getting shot at. You see what I'm saying? So
When
lack of trust.
my first 3 nights staying in LA, I was watching the news, and as I was watching the news, I was seeing things on the news that you only see in movies. I was saying, man, what the fuck? Hey, man, what the fuck? And then it hit me. I said, this is where Hollywood get their script from. Some of the most horrific things that we see in Hollywood, they got it from the streets of LA. They once had a man that raped a woman right in front of the bus stop. Right as the bus pulling up, the cameras on the bus caught it as it's pulling up to the bus stop. The boldness of the people out there, with the violence. So what we see today with the smash and grab, the trains, you described it as being a burning hell, and everybody get burnt in hell. You went to law school. At any time, did you go back to California to practice law?
Nah, man.
Why?
No.
Hold on, why not?
Because, man, when I go to LA, man, like I said, when I go to LA, man, and I've only been back a few select times. I go for a funeral every now and then, I get in and get out. Because when I drive through LA, I don't see, you know, sunshine and palm trees. I see when my homeboy got shot. I see when my cousin got laid out in the middle of the street. I see a lot of, when I drive down certain streets, I'm triggered, you know, because it's a lot of trauma that I have to deal with. Like I said, it would be like sending a Vietnam vet back to Vietnam.
Post-traumatic stress, you described it earlier, yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather be anywhere else than LA. It's not a sunshine state for me. You understand? It's a place where a lot of trauma and drama happens. And I don't want anybody ever have to deal with that. But because of that, bro, it pushed me to excel. You know, I graduated from college, went to law school, got a perfect score on the bar examination. You see? So I turned that anger and that trauma and that rage into energy.
Motivation, yeah.
Drive me in the right
Real
direction.
talk.
And it has driven me to excellence. Not only did I get 1 law degree, I got 2 law degrees.
And let me just say this, Mr. Dennis. And it was all for the need to survive, not to have to go back to those conditions.
Man, my homeboy told me, man, you can stop running now, bro. And this was like,
Oh man, nah, for real.
You still been working that hard.
No,
You done
for
got
real,
2 law
man.
degrees. You still working hard.
Nah, for real, man.
you gonna have to, you good. You gonna have to run no more, man. Like, man,
Wow,
is,
that's
bro,
deep.
Y'all gonna do crazy. I was still paranoid all the way up and probably to about 2012, 2010. I was working on 2 PhDs and a master's degree at the same time, just in case this law thing didn't work out.
Oh man.
So yeah. No.
Say boy,
I
say
get
the
it,
hood.
I get it.
Listen, the
I
hood
get
done a
it.
number on you.
I get it.
Yeah. Most of us want to go back, but that's because we wasn't born in it.
See, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm feeling everything you saying. That's the reason why we always say this here. There's no kid that was born bad.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids that's programmed bad.
Based
though.
on the conditions and the
Based off
situations
the
and the
conditions.
circumstances that they born into.
Exactly. So in order to be able to reach out to kids, and from what I'm hearing, you gotta reach those kids by grabbing them and pulling them out.
Get them out. You gotta
You
get
gotta
them out.
get them and pull them out.
At some point in they infant years, in their young years, they have to be exposed to something other than what they see day to day.
Yes.
Mr. Dennis got to see his father, who was a lawyer, and he got to get out. We got to go to the summer, in the country during the summer months and see something different. We had family vacation where we can travel and get on an airplane. But I know friends who never left the city. So their mind never got to be expanded. So like you said earlier, children mimic what they see as well as repeat what they hear. So what we see in California is
A repeating cycle.
they repeating the conditions. The conditions are getting worse. And so the behavior is getting worse because the conditions are worsening. It makes sense now.
Nobody care. The institutions set up to say they don't care. I'm gonna tell you now, them high schools are still the same as they always were. They don't care about you. And I'm telling you guys, a product of the Los Angeles Unified School District. None of you teachers, none of y'all can lie to me. I know what you do. You warehousing children to the point that you don't get no money for them no more. And then you get them up out of there and put them on the street.
Wow.
Wow. Man.
And then hand them over to the prison system,
that's
through the
deep.
prison pipeline, because that's the only other
That's
option.
deep.
If you lack education, if you lack the support from your school structure, right? From your school entity, that's where your gifts are nurtured at, right? Normally, mom and daddy working to provide, to take care. You go to school to get nurtured, right? They see the gifts. But if the teacher ain't pulling out the gifts, then the labels take over. You see what I'm saying? Gangbanger, Crip, blood, he's bad. Yeah, the labels take over when you don't nurture the gifts.
Yep.
I had
Yep.
one teacher, man, his name was Mr. Perez. Fuck you, Mr. Perez.
Oh, yeah, well, fuck you then, Mr. Perez. If you got Mr. Dennis saying it, fuck
You
you.
gonna tell this son of a bitch, excuse me for cussing.
Oh, fuck him. Yeah, he heard a baby.
Yeah, this man said, I'm fresh out the riots, and I'm trying to explain to him it wasn't all black people out there rioting. It was people from everywhere rioting. He's like, you're stupid, you don't understand. And the crazy thing was, man, I saw so much violence during the riot because I was on my way home when Reginald Denny got his ass whooped by football and them other A trades. Because remember, manual arts is over there off Martin Luther King. You see what I'm saying, in Vermont. My house at that time was on 92nd and Dinker. So I had to drive from basically Martin Luther King down Normandy, okay, past Gage, and then Florence. So I pulled up and I saw some smoke at the intersection and whatnot. So I hopped out my little Volkswagen Bug. I ran to the intersection and I saw everything that happened. I saw when they snatched this white woman out of the car. I saw when they snatched this Hispanic, this Mexican dude out his truck. And he had tampons in the back of his truck. Don't ask me how I know, but I have firsthand knowledge on that. And then I saw when the white dude Reginald Denny pulled up, and see, he got mad because somebody threw up some beer at his window. And so he decided to roll his window down in the riot and tell people not to throw no beer at his window. And we see how that turned out. There was somebody, football, which was the name of that particular OG, reached in there, opened his door, and that's when it started happening. But the crazy thing is, man, I saw that violence, man, and it just turned me off the violence. Like I'm gonna tell you, like that was the first time I ever seen somebody get shot. Like up close like that. And I was like, damn. I mean, they was whooping men, they was whooping women. They was, and at that point, I was just tired, man. I was just tired of it. So, You know, I went on and
What do you tell a kid that's tired but can't see no way out?
Now that's deep. That's deep right there.
What do you tell a kid that
That's
saw all this, that's tired but can't see no light at the end
Now
of the
that's
tunnel?
deep. That's deep right there.
bro,
Cause that's what we got today. They tired, but man, ain't no light at the end of
But
the
ain't no
tunnel.
light at the end of the tunnel.
I don't think you can tell them anything, man. You gotta show them. Cause I wouldn't have believed you.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have believed you. I just thought you was another dude running game, running some con. They had to actually show me there was something better other than what I'm doing out here. You know, you had to show me better. You know, and thank God I got a chance to go to my HBCU at Grambling. You know, that little saying is where everybody is somebody. And once I was shown that, you know, them good country folk up in North Louisiana treated me well, bro, and that's why I ain't never left the South. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what I want to say, man? I'm gonna say it again. Shout out to Dr. O. We asked the question. You said you gotta show them. So I'm gonna say this here. I think that's what we just did. By having you on this platform, and by having you being able to tell your side of the story, I think we showing them. I think we really showing them that this what it looked like just to get out.
If you give them an opportunity.
If you give them an opportunity to get out, this what the results are. These are the results. So, man, I want to thank you again, man. Yeah, but go ahead.
You make me have more compassion for gangbangers in LA. You make me have listen to me. You give me empathy toward them now. See, because I can't imagine. Nobody paints the picture. Nobody paints the picture that you don't have a choice of the matter out here in LA. We think a motherfucker got a choice. Man, them niggas don't have to gangbang. No, you ain't got a motherfucking choice because of the conditions. The sad part is you don't get to pick where you're born.
And you're going to conform. What that means is whether you claim to set or not, you're going to conform to the rules of this neighborhood.
So that's why they say ain't nobody bigger than the program. I get it.
Yeah.
That's why you hear them niggas say ain't nobody bigger than the program.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now. See, we can't understand because we don't know nobody that can paint this, articulate this to make it seem logical. Because the actions and the behaviors of gangbangers is illogical, abnormal if you're not born to understand it. You see what I'm saying?
Thanks.
So here you
Thanks.
are, was born to understand it, not to make it out of it, and you can explain it as a lawyer to make not just Charleston, but you can make a white woman on the jewelry have compassion for a gangbanger when you tell what you told us.
Well, let me say this, bro. At a certain point, like I told you, the OGs told me at a certain point you got to grow out of it. So they have to accept responsibility for their own actions. You can't be out there shooting and killing people saying, "Oh, I was beaten and abused as a child." You're still killing somebody else's child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and here's the crazy thing, Charleston. Because I know that life so well, I probably make less excuses for it than somebody like a white liberal, because I know the choices you make. See, man, I was out there shooting craps with the Crips at 11 because I wanted to. You understand what I'm saying? I was riding with them because I wanted to. You see what I mean? I did that. Even in high school, I had homeboys. My best friend, he was a senior. His name was Maniac. You understand? He was from the east side. I had a Jerry curl, black as hell. You ever seen dude so black? His nose was light skinned. That was my homeboy. So I chose them people I hung around. You know, the thing is, I'm used to it. It's like being with a bad woman. You're used to them type of women so you can handle it.
So
I'm used to hanging around thugs and gangsters. So it was cool with me. But that's not something I want for my own children because I realize now that's dysfunctional and it's going to lead you in a bad place. You hang with an idiot, you're gonna be an idiot. You
Right.
hang with killers, you either gonna get killed or be a killer. You know what I'm
Yikes.
saying? That's how that works.
Thanks.
So you just made a statement about choices. You chose those people, but when did you learn to make right choices? Because you have to learn that, right? As a child, we learn right from wrong because our parents, they correct us when we do wrong. Children have to be taught what's right? They come out, we naturally do wrong. So you have to teach children what's right. At one point in your life, did you learn how to make right choices and decisions by thinking and balancing things out?
I mean, I think the first thing you understand is you are who you hang around. It's like I didn't think I was a gangbanging because these are some dudes I shoot craps with. The other people did. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the problem. You got to be careful who you hang around. Let me say it like this, man. So today, well, about the past 5 years that I've been working on this case, man, I do top car accidents and 18 wheelers. I did that for a minute, and now I've graduated to class actions. So yesterday, I'm in this room. We're in the courthouse right here in Houston. I'm in there with 5 other lawyers. I mean, when I took a picture. I got the picture. I put it up on my page, my Instagram page. That picture in itself is about $4 billion worth of lawsuits, and I'm in that picture. Today I found out the particular case that we're working on because we're doing what's called a Daubert hearing. Okay, that's when you screen out all the experts, see who's the best, who's not. One of the experts, our expert, said the diminution in value because of this plant explosion, which left these chemicals on the property in this particular community is worth $360 million. So what I'm telling you right now, I went from a little dude from South Central LA who didn't know who his real daddy was, born to a teenage mama, to working on the case. One of 4 that I have right now that's worth $360 million with some of the best lawyers in America.
And if it go to trial, y'all get that 33 to 3% that they do laws like that too?
40%.
Oh man, I'm going back to law school. I'm going to law school. Oh my goodness. So man, say man, woo wait.
Yeah, man. So hopefully you young people, if you don't mind me talking to the audience. Man.
Yeah, go ahead. That was my next question. And then I want you to specifically talk to LA.
Oh man, yeah. My hometown. So you young brothers, man, wherever you from, whether you a country kid, somewhere in Georgia, Alabama, shit, Dallas. Not Dallas. Dallas is a little country, but it ain't that country.
Yeah.
From the hood somewhere, man. It's a lot of opportunities in the United States. And I don't want you to listen to all that rhetoric. If you can see somebody else do it, you can do it too. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever another man you do, you can do. So to look at me, I ain't no better than you. Hell, y'all probably smarter than I am. You see what I'm saying? And so if I can do it from hard work, discipline, integrity, sticking to it, being tough, because I learned to be real tough from where I'm from. You see what I mean?
Tenacity.
I wish I didn't have all the scars and trauma, but the lessons was learned. And if you stick to it, man, and you keep pushing, man, you can accomplish a lot. I don't care if you're an engineer, janitor, plumber, electrician, you got your own company, whatever you do, man, just stick to it and be the best that you can do. And don't forget where you came from, not so that you can return to that sort of foolishness, but what you came out of. Just like you don't want to go back into a pigsty, you want to clean yourself off. Let that be your motivation to push you forward. Now, as far as to my hometown of Los Angeles, man, to my hometown of South. And look, let me tell you like this. I don't claim Los Angeles. I tell people I'm from South Central LA. It's a big difference.
They keep saying that. Everybody, all people from where you from say that. And we don't have understanding of it.
I don't claim Hollywood. I don't claim Pasadena. I claim South Central LA. That's where I'm from. You see what I mean? Because there's no other place in Southern California, even Oakland. Shout out to Oakland, but Oakland and South Central LA is 2 different people. Even they'll tell you that. They got their own thing. But If you can make it out of South Central LA, you can make it in the corporate boardroom. You gotta clean that up. You can make it on a basketball court. You can make it on a football field. Because you're born for this. I'm born for this. It's nothing that you can do to me that's gonna fade me. I might get hit, but I'm gonna get back up because I've been through worse at a younger age. So that's what I want you to hold on to. But you gotta get out of there. You're not going to do well in South Central LA around the same people you've been around. Go and come back. If you want to, but you gotta go because right now you don't know. You don't know what's out there until you go. Until you youngsters up there tearing up the city, we did that. We did that in the 80s and the 90s. I was around there flipping over trash cans, breaking into schools, stealing stuff out of stores, all that. I was doing all that shit y'all was doing, but I was 8, 9, 10 years old. You 15, 20, you're gonna do some time. They building prisons for you. So you gotta understand it's a different time. They got cameras, they got places for you, they got all sorts of stuff, and you don't wanna mess your life up getting into something because you feel like there's no outlet. There is outlet. Look at all these people on the internet making money. Get some of that internet money, man. If you wanna go to school, cool, go to school. It's a long route, it pays off in the end. This lawyer money is slow money, but it's the show money. But understand, if you can make it out of South Central LA, man, you can make it. And look, all that stuff I did, I never did something so serious that I got a felony or some kind of criminal record. Yeah, I was mischievous. Yeah, I got pulled over by the police a lot and put in handcuffs. But the bottom line is, man, thank God for them blessings and I made it. And you know, shout out to all my homeboys who did it, man, because I still, the reason that I do what I do, because I have my own podcast, and that's how Dr. O knows me, is because I still have love for my brothers. You know, even my Mexican SA homeboys, because I'm cool with them too. I got love for the sisters too. I got love for everybody. But the bottom line is I try to focus on brothers because it starts and stops with y'all. Y'all are doing the destruction. You tearing up the city. You tearing up your own life. And you don't know how good life gets when you get older because you think if I ain't a millionaire by 19, I'm a failure. No, man, just chill. You see what I'm saying? You can live real good on $50,000, $60,000 a year. You can be comfortable. You ain't got to have no helicopters, no bullets, no gunshots. Just be patient. It's greater later. You see what I'm saying? And if we could just teach these youngsters, man, just plan for the future. It's greater later. Just relax. And then hopefully, man, that'll make them tone down a little bit. Because you out there breaking an entry and kicking in people's doors and you 17, 18, now you go to jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
And when you come out, everybody that you thought was your friend, they don't even talk to you no more.
But so
just that's it, man.
So we'll close out with this.